financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is eliminating your credit card debt and the ticket how. Brian Small, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. An absolute pleasure to be here Sunday morning at home. It is.
I see you're wearing your prison pajamas.
No, these are not prison pajamas. This is a dress shirt. I wanted to wear my pajamas, but I thought that the ones that had the Muppets on it would be a little too much.
I would have loved to have seen Muppet pajamas. Pat Simesko, how are you?
Hello, everyone. How you feeling? Everyone doing good?
Doing good. We're dealing with another COVID wave, and we're back in our homes again for this, for this next couple segments of the show. Hopefully, we're at the end of the run, and everything goes well. Come summer, maybe we can resume normal activity. That would be a wonderful thing, right?
Wear a mask. Wear a mask, and be safe.
Agreed. All right, so let's talk about eliminating your credit card debt and what I mean by the ticket. What's it a ticket to? I say it's a ticket to elimination of desperation, to financial solvency, and to financial success.
Can I add one?
Yes.
Financial freedom.
Fine. Financial freedom, if you think that it has to have its own label and solvency and success doesn't cover it, consider it permanently added to this segment of Law and Reality. Thank you, Brian.
It sounds good.
All right. Let's begin with the basics. I want to do a case study. Lisa and Phil, they're in their mid-40s, 2 kids, 10 and 12. Combined income, $130,000 a year, so they're making decent money. Credit card debt, out of control, $80,000. The monthly payment on credit card debt is $2,000 a month. Here's their budget. Their net income, after tax, $8,666 a month. Basically, they're in a 20% bracket. House payment, $2,500.
Their income is really good income. But I want to point out to everybody, when you're sitting there at home, whether you're making $130,000 a year or $65,000 a year, the problem is that if you have $40,000 worth of credit card debt, you're out of control. It's not 80 doesn't make you out of control. Anything over $10,000 in credit card debt is out of control. That's just
absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? Driving over to the show today, me and my wife were talking. My daughter just graduated law school. She's working at the IRS, and she needs to get a new car now. And with her budget, and she's making good money, but you can't start using credit cards to pay any of your expenses. That's the start of the downward spiral.
Cash is king. If you don't have the cash, you don't get to be king.
That's true. There you go.
Good point. All right, so let's go. Let me their budgets. Their house payments $2,500, 2 car payments $800, utilities $500, cable and phone $250, car insurance, gas and maintenance $400, and health insurance. The share they have to kick in $600. The credit card payments $2,000 a month, food and miscellaneous $1,600, total expenses $8,650. They have a net left at the end of the month if they stay in budget of $16.
Well, what's the problem with that? They're making what they're spending. They're spending what they're making.
They are in the what, Brian? What would you call this?
They are in the credit card trap. They are in deep doo-doo is what I would call it.
Just imagine music playing, like the dungeon that they're in is the credit card trap. And what is the credit card trap? Well, there's an article in The Ascent by Maria Beckman. Says 12% of Americans find themselves in this trap called the dangerous credit card cycle. And all she's saying is, if you're living month to month, only making the minimum monthly payments, you're never getting rid of the balance, and it becomes a horrific trap. And I think the statement actually goes further, because, and it's also covered by the Health Care Family Credit Union, had a good article on it, is what happens is you start, because of the interest burden and the payment that you're making, you're using all your available cash to make your credit card payments and pay your bills every month. So you have nothing left to spend to buy anything new with. So anything you have to go and purchase, you end up charging it. And as soon as you're doing that, even when you see that minimum monthly payment that says it's going to take you 39 years to pay off the card, you're not going to do it. Because if that assumes you make no more charges. If you use any charges, the 39 years is going to start over from the new balance every month.
Is it actually 39 years?
Well, you know what, Pat?
It varies depending on the interest rate.
It does. Literally, it can be 39 years. It can be 25 years. Most credit cards, when you look at me, if you look at your credit card statement, if you use a credit card, it'll give you a choice. What does it take to pay it off in 3 years? And what does it take to pay off if you pay it in the minimum monthly payment? And credit cards that are commonly used, such as Discover or Capital One, which give you a higher risk level and also offer higher interest rates, you can see 39 years to pay it off. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a horrific trap to get yourself into, but it's common. It's extremely common. Now let's just look at the numbers for a second. If you've got $80,000 of credit card debt and your interest is at 20%, which is about an average interest rate, at $16,000 a year in interest. $2,000 a month are your minimum monthly payments times 12. That's $24,000 a year that this couple is forced to pay on their credit cards. They're in a 20% bracket at their $130,000 of income. If you're in a 20% bracket, you have to earn $30,000 a year to pay your taxes of $6,000 to leave yourself $24,000 to pay in your credit cards. What does that mean? It means 23% of their gross income is going to service the credit card payments. It's killing Lisa and Phil. And it's a common situation, something they need to resolve. We're going to take a break and we're going to explore this a little bit.
COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We were here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, back to Lisa and Phil. All right, so what their interest cost over 10 years, $16,000 a year, 10 years, $160,000 of interest. Minimum payments, $24,000 a year times 10 years. That's $250,000, $240,000.
You know, Ken, that's a tremendous amount of money. But ask Pat, is it really $250,000 a year over 10 years, or isn't it just a whole lot more that they lost?
Oh, it's a lot more time value of money. If you invested that at making 3% return, that'd be $1 million by the time you're all done.
In fact, we're going to show those numbers in a second. And I completely agree. There's a client fallacy here, and this is this one. Phil says this isn't going to happen to me because we pay more than the minimum payment every month, so we're not in the credit card trap. We actually pay $2,500 a month, not $2,000, so we're bringing down the principal balance.
I guarantee you that is incorrect.
It sounds good, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound good?
Except it isn't true. Here's what happened. Check with them on January 1 of any given year, and check with them on December 31 of the same year. I guarantee you,
$80,000.
They're either going to owe $80,000 or they're going to owe more than $80,000.
And that's exactly right. And the reason is just go back to what we said before. If whatever money you're giving to the credit card companies leaves you no money to pay for anything, you're going to keep using the cards. If you keep using the cards, the balance never goes away. For Lisa and Phil, if they stay in this trap, in 20 years, they're going to owe at least $80,000 on the credit cards, and they're going to burn through all of that money. So in Lisa and Phil's case, if he's paying $2,500 a month, then in 10 years, he's going to pay $300,000 to the credit card companies, and he's still going to owe the same $80,000. That is desperation and financial insolvency. Go ahead, Brian.
And Ken, I'll tell you, one thing that we haven't touched on yet is in this world of COVID right now, where so many people are doing so many different things to try and protect the money they have, they're taking things like the deferment on paying your mortgage, yet they're still paying the credit card companies. And what's happening is that they're paying the wrong debt. And so the credit cards go down a little bit, but the minute that mortgage deferment comes due, they're going to be in a worse problem than they are now.
Or the minute the unemployment insurance runs out or the stimulus package doesn't come through, or it doesn't come through like the last time. These are all the unknowns we're dealing with. They shouldn't even, in my view, even be paying on the credit cards. They should be saving the cash. That's a more aggressive issue, but we've talked about it on different shows. All right, let's flip it around for Phil and Lisa. We eliminate that debt, the $80,000. We save the $16,000 in interest a year. That's $1,333 a month. And we invest it. We invested at, you said 3%, Pat. I'm going to say 5%. In 10 years, it's $205,000. In 20 years, it's $541,000.
And that's only $1,300. Remember, we were talking about, Pat, about investing the whole $2,000.
Right. And so what I'm doing here is I'm saying the other $700, or in Phil and Vivian's case, Phil and Lisa's case, where they said it's paying $2,500, I'm leaving them $1,200 to buy things. So I'm only getting rid of the interest expense, letting them use the rest of that money to buy things. At 8% interest, $240,000 in 10 years, 20 years, $758,000. It is, again, the difference between life and death financially.
And again, looking at this picture, if you're sitting there saying, well, there's no way I would ever be able to save $1,333 a month, cut it in half. It's still $270,000 over 20 years.
Right.
Cut that in half. It's still $135,000, and you save $300 a month. If it's better than what happens at the end of 20 years, if you just keep paying the interest on the credit cards, you have zero saved.
Yeah. When you say cut it in half, just go to Starbucks half as much.
Oh, Brian, just a great story about the coffee.
Oh, don't get going on the Starbucks.
Coffee
We're not going to go to the coffee story.
I'm actually going to challenge you on the point, Brian, because I've now changed the hypothetical where all I'm doing is saving the interest expense. If you take Phil and Lisa's budget, that leaves them $16 a month after their income, paying the credit card companies $2,000 a month. If $1,333 of that $2,000 is interest, they're going to have that other $700 to buy the things that they're buying, and they actually would be able to save the $1,300 on their example.
For that example, but I'm saying if you're making half and your payments are half, I'm trying to give it to explain that this concept works for every single person that has any credit card debt.
Absolutely. $40,000 of credit card debt, just slice the numbers in half. 540 goes to 270. 758 goes to, whatever half of 758 is, $360,000. More than that, $380,000.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the conclusion you must draw from this? Let's go around in the circle. Pat, what's your conclusion from this?
Don't get into it to begin with.
And if
once
you're in
you
it,
get out of it, stay out of it.
Brian?
Well, since we know that people already are in credit card debt, the solution is get out of debt. The fastest, easiest, quickest way you can, no matter what you have to do, get rid of that debt so you can protect your future and your family's future.
It's so important. And it's, what happens is Phil and Lisa watch the show and they say, yeah, but if I do that, and I do something to get out of the debt, what's going to happen to my credit score?
Oh, I hear the yeah-buts all the time. Yeah, but.
Oh.
The bottom line is credit scores heal.
I like that.
He's funny today.
Credit scores heal, and debt is evil. That's what you should recognize.
Let's take a break and figure out how to get rid of that debt.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for On Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9 Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. We have webinars coming up. You can stay in your home, attend our webinar via the internet, ask questions while you're watching, covering and learning the materials. The webinar we have coming up next is on Wednesday, January 27th, 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Time to get rid of the credit card bills because they're going to be coming after the new year. We're going to talk about how to address debt so that you preserve what you have. You don't allow your future income to be lost on paying past debts and credit card bills. We're going to have a special segment for small businesses facing debt and closure issues as a result of COVID. We're going to learn the available solutions outside of bankruptcy as well as using bankruptcy. Those that attend get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Remember, you can always come into the law firm for a free consultation, either via teleconference, phone conference, or in office with social distancing. We're happy to have you in. You want to call 888-235-HELP or go online to thavgross.com or lawandreality.com and just click and request a consult. Debt issues with Brian, tax issues with Jeff Linden, estate planning issues with Brian, business issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat Samasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, criminal issues with Scott Weinberg. All that's available free to you when you come in for a consult. It is not a show and tell type of a thing. We analyze your problem. We give you the exact solution that you need to follow to address the problem, and you walk away with a game plan. That's the key, is learning what your options are. Also, take advantage of our free reports that are on the website. Resolving Tax Problems, the Real Solution by myself and Jeff Linden, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan, and the Retiree's Guide for Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We are here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Let me be blunt, glib, pragmatic about when Phil and Lisa say, well, what do we do about getting rid of the credit card debt? I'll tell you the easiest way.
Stop for a second. Wait. You can be blunt. I've seen that before. I know that you can be pragmatic. I haven't seen glib. Can you express that for us just somehow?
Isn't blunt and glib close?
Not really.
Aren't they first cousins?
You
All right,
know
well,
what? Your use of the English language is just fine. But keep going, Ken.
Okay. The solution, in my mind, is what you do is, you're not going to figure it out yourself. You call us. You come in and you meet with Brian, and you do it either through video, or you come into the office. We have every way of doing it to find out what your options are. It doesn't cost anything to do it, and you owe it to yourself, because the one thing you have to be convinced about from this show is that if you have that credit card debt, $80,000, $60,000, $40,000, you should be convinced that you are making a financial mistake and you've got to do something to get rid of it. And then you have to figure out how. And then, Brian, what are the methods that we get rid of the credit card debt with? How do we do it?
Certainly, we can look at Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is debt elimination bankruptcy. Wipe out the debt, get a fresh start. If you qualify for that, that is the least costly, most effective, simplest way to get out of debt, if you qualify. There's Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is reorganization, structured reorganization where you repay some or all of your creditors, some or all the money you owe them over 3 to 5 years. This is going to be a very effective tool once all that foreclosure moratorium stops, because people have gotten behind on their mortgages and they're not necessarily qualifying for the relief that the government is suggesting that they qualify.
Yeah, we still don't know the answer to the question of how long are they going to give you to repay the payments that you miss. If they tack it on to the end of the mortgage, great. If they say you've got to pay it all in 1 year, it's a whole different ballgame.
How many? Do they,
So my understanding of that, just
go ahead, Pat.
Is there statistics on how many people are falling into that, are deferring their payments that are?
So it was 4 million as of about 6 weeks ago, and then when all the supplemental money came, that number dropped down to about 3.5 million. I haven't seen the number in the last 2-3 weeks, but it's going to be going back up because more people have gotten laid off with the second wave, and we are exhausting and running out of money unless stimulus money comes through. So rough numbers, it's going to be 4 million. It's going to end up being somewhere between 3.5 and 5 million people, which is a boatload of suffering, is what it really comes down to. Back to the credit cards, though, Brian. Back to the credit cards. You didn't tell me anything about debt resolution. How do I solve that credit card debt outside of bankruptcy?
Well, we settle your debts for pennies on the dollar. We negotiate with the creditor. We make them agree to take less than the full amount that's owed. And it's a very effective program. We use, quote unquote, that minimum monthly payment that you've been paying in the first place to be the pool of money that we use. It creates the pool of money that we use to negotiate with. The power of the minimum monthly payment is extraordinary.
Which means that over an 18 to 24 month period, we get you out of debt by using the same money that you would have been paying the credit card company every month for the rest of your life. It's a really smart way of getting out of the debt. 2 quick points. You'll see commercials advertising debt consolidation. You'll hear the credit card companies say, no, you don't want to do that. It'll affect your credit rating. You should call us and we will reduce your interest rate. Those 2 systems will not get you out of the credit card debt and will leave you back paying the interest. You need to cut the cord, get rid of the debt, so that $1,333 a month starts going in the bank, investing it with somebody like with Pat's advice, so you start earning 5 to 8% on the money. And when you get to 65, you have $250,000 to $750,000 of savings in the bank with 0 debt. It's up to Phil and Lisa to take those steps. It's in their power. If you're affording to make the credit card payments and you are allowing yourself to continue to do it and pay the interest, you are throwing away your financial future. I can't emphasize it more. That's what this show is about, is to convince you you have to do something. What you have to do, you need to come in to see us to do it or watch a different show and we'll tell you how. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Thanks for tuning in.